Are you thinking about starting streaming, but you're worried about how much money it might cost? In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the exact cost of how much it's going to cost to start streaming. And to give you a little bit more reassurance, I'm going to be doing 3 different type of builds. Number 1, a budget build. This is the bare minimum that you will need to start streaming successfully. I don't want to waste your time by saying, all you need is a $100 laptop, because that $100 laptop is not really going to do too much. Now, I can make an argument that you don't need to be able to stream video games to be able to make content and be able to stream successfully. You could use a laptop with a video camera built in and just stream just chatting. However, I want to be a little bit more realistic. Anyone watching can stream some games, at least with the budget. With the decent one, you'll be able to stream pretty much any game. With the best, you will be able to stream any game. But even with the budget one, I don't want to do the absolute cheapest way possible, because the absolute cheapest way possible, if you're watching right now on a phone, you could stream from your phone for free. If you're watching right now on a computer, you could stream on your computer for free. If you're watching right now on YouTube from like a TV or something like that, you can't really stream from there. But if you have a console, you can. If you have a phone or anything like that, you can. You could stream for free. However, I wouldn't start streaming until I had at least this budget set up. What I would do instead is I would plan out a perfect plan, get a job, and then save for this budget PC and everything else that I need. And if you're too young and you can't get a direct job at McDonald's or any type of starter job or anything like that, anyone could start their own business. Depending on where you live, there's a whole bunch of different businesses to start. Simple car washing for people, mowing lawns, cleaning houses, anything that you can, any type of service that you could offer to try to make whatever money that you can, do so, because number 1, money makes the world go around. And number 2, as soon as you have the equipment that you need, you could start streaming and start building a platform that could eventually start your full-time career around content creation. But with that being said, for every one of these tiers, I'm going to be going over a couple different things. I'm going to be telling you what PC you should get for the budget, what mic, what camera, and what extras. So for example, budget, what PC you want, what mic you want, what camera you want, and you won't need any extras because you don't have any money. Let's get started with the budget. There's no sponsorships in this video, nor is there any affiliate links. I don't want you to think that I'm only telling you anything to try to make a buck off of you. I don't want your commission. I don't want anything like that. I want you to make the best decision for your budget possible. With that being said, there's no affiliate links in the description. There's nothing like that, because I don't want you to think that that's swaying my decision at all with what I'm telling you. I'm giving you the best advice specific for your budget. So for the budget PC, I really recommend iBuyPower. Even though they're a little generic in the gaming computer space, they are decent, especially for budget computers. If you go to refurbished means that they got the computer themselves and worked on it to make sure that it still works, it works good, and things like that. Let's say I completely smashed my computer and I sent it into them to refurbish it. As long as everything still worked, they could put it back together and sell it as a refurbished product, much cheaper than buying a brand new computer that hasn't been smashed before, if that makes sense. But there's a little bit of a secret with buying cheap PCs, and I don't know why this is. I can't give you an exact reason. In fact, it should be the opposite of this, but for whatever reason, I really recommend going through eBay because it's much cheaper on average for a good streamable computer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to search gaming desktop on eBay, and then I'm just going to go through and do a couple bare minimums. This is the same graphics card that I use in my computer. I really need to upgrade because I do YouTube and things like that full time now. However, this is great for a good budget PC. If you can get a 2060 RTX, that should be plenty to stream most games. You might not get the best settings on the most CPU intensive games. However, it is by far good enough to be streamable on and is a perfect budget PC. This computer is amazing for the price. You could stream, this is pretty great spec. For the price, it's amazing specs. This computer will last you a good couple of years of making content, of streaming. It definitely will give you enough light to start multiple YouTube channels and start creating multiple different businesses using this computer, using content creation, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to round up, obviously. Free shipping too. You can get a great budget PC off of eBay for less than $500. Here's a great microphone for the price. For a budget microphone, you might have heard of Snowballs already. You might have heard of Blue before. The Blue Yeti is a very popular microphone. This is an amazing price. Yes, it's refurbished obviously, but you will know that it works, and you will know that this will last you again a good couple of years of making hundreds of videos, starting multiple channels, starting multiple different careers around content creation, around streaming. You don't really necessarily need a camera to start streaming. You can obviously start streaming without a face cam. If you look at my old videos, I never used a face cam for my first videos. You could definitely start a YouTube career without using a camera at all. So I could say zero, but I found this really cheap camera. This is a great camera too. It's a 1080p camera. It's the same one that I use, except I have the 4K version of it, which really doesn't make that much of a difference. I'm sure if I like went into the settings, I can make it a lot better than it is. I say that to say this is 20 bucks with free shipping. Again, 20 bucks. I mean, for a budget, it's you can't beat that. It's a great camera. I would buy that if I was making a budget setup. As long as, you know, obviously you want to make sure that it works. So with this one, for example, 100% positive feedback, as long as he says in the description that it still works. Perfect for streamers, content creators, blah, 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 blah. So like I said, you don't have to have a webcam for a budget setup. However, if you could find one for 20 bucks that's as good as this one, you might as well buy it. As long as you go in the description and you make sure they say directly in the description that it's in working condition. It's specifically great working condition, perfect, I would buy it. I put another $20 here for extras because obviously you're on a budget, you don't need to have any fancy extras. You don't need a stream deck. You don't need lighting. You don't need any of this fancy bullshit. But you do need a keyboard and a mouse, which you can get for $10 each. You can get real cheap ones. You don't need anything fancy. Same with like, you know, you can use basic earbuds or things like that. You don't need an expensive headset. You can find all three of these easily for 20 bucks. They're not going to be great, but they're going to be enough to where you could start making YouTube videos. You could start streaming. You could start a content creation career. That is the goal with these. You want to buy all of these and eventually you want to race to be profitable as fast as possible because you want to look at this like what is this total? You want to be looking at this like a $560 investment. You want to be racing to make as many videos as possible, start different YouTube channels, get them monetized, start making ad revenue. Use this $560 investment to start a career. Not only will it, you know, start a career, at the very least it could be a side income or, you know, a side hustle or extra source of income, things like that. At the very least it could pay for your video games or whatever hobby that you have. But these three things, technically four, these four things, it's will last you a good solid couple of years of starting and getting monetized, especially if you do it the right way. If you dive into a niche and you really create multiple different niche-based YouTube channels and start a content creation agency, this $560 investment can turn into $500,000 a year business. But let's go over to decent. Let's say that you have a job already, you have a little bit saved up, you have a little bit of extra income, you want a good PC that you could play whatever video game you want on, you want a PC for more than just this initial investment. You want to be able to do more on it. You don't want it to be just like a work PC. When I'm looking for gaming PCs, and specifically like, you know, for a budget or any type of like specific dollar amount, I try to go just based off a graphics card. Everything else will kind of be built around the graphics card, but you want to pick whatever graphics card is in your budget. So for this one, I'm trying to stick to like a $1,500 to $2,000 budget. So I would recommend like a 4060, 4060 Ti, even a 4070. So we'll go ahead and start with a 4070. These specs are great for the price. A 4070 Super, i74, these are great specs. Great for the price. I do need to buy a new PC. And I'm contemplating buying this exact one because like it's a great deal for the price. I mean, it's not like the best PC brand ever, but it is an amazing brand. And the fact that it's refurbished, you know that it's going to be working. Let's check the description. You know, it's eBay certified, refurbished. Everything is going to be good. There's returns. Everything is good. This is an amazing PC for the price, and I am highly considering purchasing this exact one. So if there's 5 available right now, there might be 4 available when you're watching it, but I digress. For your microphone, I would go with a Blue Yeti because it is great for the price. I know we're not necessarily in the budget bracket anymore, but I grew up in a very poor family. I always consider budgets, you know. So with that being said, you can get a condenser microphone. You know, a Yeti is one of the best condenser microphones. I used to use a Yeti before I upgraded to the mic that I have right now. Yeti is great. Multiple YouTubers have said like all you need is a $100 microphone. They're talking about this Blue Yeti to start a multi-million-dollar career via YouTube. You can find a good refurbished one for even cheaper at $60. Perfect microphone. I mean, I got my old one right here. But my point with that is it's a great microphone. $60 refurbished. Can't go wrong. As far as a camera, we can go with like a 4K one for like a little bit of an upgrade. This one's bids, so you know, we don't know how. This is the exact camera I have though. This is the one that I'm using right now. So what I would do, I would find an auction like this if you can and just bid on it. Try to be the highest bidder. Very good condition. This just came out like not even a year ago, so tested, working condition, everything is good. But let's say, example, there is no auctions, there is no way you can find it any cheaper. Like, you know, just cheapest you can get is probably going to be like this, you know, 115. So let's just round up and say that. Worst case scenario, you're paying 115 for it. Extras, again, you know, I come from a poor family. Anything extra is not really necessary, so it's hard for me to put anything there. So this is really up to you. So let's just say you have an extra $100, or even let's just say $200. That is going to give you whatever mouse you want. Like, I have a Razer mouse. I like Razer for whatever reason. I have a Razer mouse. It costs like, I don't know. It was like $70, something like that. I have a Razer keyboard. It costs probably like $120, something like that. So put those together, you got $200 on a expensive mouse and keyboard that I really didn't need, and I don't need it. There's no reason to have it. The older and older I get, the more I realize optimizing function and things like that instead of, brand names or what looks nice or anything like that. But that's why I put it in the extras, because you don't need it. You don't have to have it at all. You could use your basic $20 mouse and keyboard. It don't matter. But for the sake of the math, I'm just going to put 200 here because I'm essentially building what I paid for my setup back when I first started my YouTube channel. So let me do the math. So my $1,800 investment has started a new career for me, started a new business. Now I help streamers instead of, my other marketing business has been on the back burner. It's on autopilot. Now my main focus is helping streamers, which I am extremely thankful for. I love working with streamers directly and helping them and, helping them use marketing to grow their streams, build platforms, and start careers of their own. It's been an amazing experience that I wouldn't trade for anything in the world. However, none of this would have been possible without the $1,800 investment that I made. However, I could have done all of this on this, the budget PC. I could have made every video that I've ever made with this budget PC, because this $500 PC is the PC that I'm using right now, pretty much. Same specs, same type of, obviously I need to upgrade to this, but I haven't had to this whole time, and I've started, like I said, a new marketing career from YouTube, from content creation. I started a new content creation agency, all using a budget type of setup, if that makes sense. And now let's have a little bit of fun. It won't be fun for me because, like I said, high prices and unnecessary spending makes me want to throw up. But let's have some wishful thinking here. So we're going to go to the gaming desktop just like usual. And we're going to pick the best graphics card that money can get, pretty much. Which, I mean, like, these are super crazy, but, like, like I said here, I want to still be semi-realistic. Like, I don't want to build a $50,000 gaming computer or $50,000 setup, because, like, even if you have $50,000, who's going to spend $50,000 on a setup? You shouldn't spend that much on a setup unless you are blowing your money away. If so, then you can pay someone to build your perfect setup for you. You know what I mean? But let's go with this one, because this is a realistic graphics card that is still amazing. It's the best graphics card that realistically you can get. This is a great PC. This is a great PC. Great PC. All these are pretty good. What do we got here? This one's a little too cheap, so we have to investigate. 4070. Is that what I clicked on? See, you have to really pay attention, because even though I made the option to where it should only be showing me 4090s, it says right here that it's a 4070. So that may not seem like a big difference, but I mean, it really makes a $1,000 difference. So this PC right here, you can tell it costed him $4,200 on Amazon. He's selling it for $3,000 or best offer. I mean, these specs are great. i9, plenty of RAM, plenty of storage, the 4090 graphics card. Like, I mean, you can't get a better PC than this. Like, if I wanted to buy the best PC that I can get without, like I said, without being super crazy, with still being semi-realistic, I would buy this one. I don't know. I personally can't justify it. I would rather just get this one at this point in my life, but to each his own, you know what I mean? If I was more focused on streaming and gaming and things like that, instead of focusing on building businesses and marketing and things like that, it would make more sense to go with this super expensive PC. But for me, marketing business first, YouTuber second, then this is all, perfect for me. I would not waste any more money than $3,000 on this, because this PC will last you a good 10, 15 years of streaming, making content, things like that. Mic, I would use if I could buy whatever microphone I want, which I almost bought this microphone. I went with a little bit cheaper of an option because it still sounds great. Like, I couldn't tell the difference. I accidentally did the USB one. Don't do the USB one. You want to get your own interface. You want to, you want to get the real deal. This is their cheaper one too. Don't get the cheaper one. Like this is where we go. There we go. This is your typical podcast mic. Pretty much any podcast you see has this mic. It's really great. You have to get an interface for it, but you can get an interface for it. With the mic, with the interface and the mic, it's probably going to cost you like $400, somewhere around there. It's definitely worth it. Let me put the thing. Like I said, it'll cost $400 for the mic and the interface. The one that I use specifically is the Audio Technica oh man, what is it? I think it's this one. Actually, it might be the 40, and it's not a USB either, because I have the interface for it. Yeah, this one, I believe. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this one. This is the microphone that I use. Like I said, it's just a little bit cheaper than the Shure. The quality is pretty much the very similar, especially when you're using an interface. It can't get that much better, but you know, if money's not an issue, I would buy this one. Camera, I mean, again, let's say money's not an issue. If money's not an issue for a webcam, what I would really like to do is to get a actual camera, like, you know, not a webcam, because over here, this camera that we found, the 4K one, the one that I'm using right now, you can't really get much better than that with a webcam. That's like the best webcam that you can get, but you can get an actual camera, and that's what I would recommend. Getting a, what do they call those? Like a tripod, getting a whole setup made for, like, you know, put your tripod and all that setup right behind your monitor. Treat it just like a webcam, but have it be an actual camera, because it gives way better quality. It will make a huge difference. And this camera is, like, you know, an amazing camera. Obviously, you can buy a way better camera. If you have literally unlimited money, then you could buy the best camera that you can get. But if I was, you know, if I was building my setup, just spending someone else's money, this is what I would do. I wouldn't do any more than this, you know, $800 Canon camera. There's no point. This is plenty to give great face cam quality. Extras, this is going to be pretty much whatever you want. I just do what I have as far as extras. I have 2 monitors. Oh yeah, I guess monitors should be included in all this, but you can get monitors cheap. Go to Walmart, buy small TVs. You know, they're always on sale at places like Walmart. They don't have to be actual gaming monitors. Obviously, once you get to, like, you know, this point, you want to get to the point where you're getting like a 240 hertz monitor. You know, if you got the extra money, you might as well get as high hertz monitor as you can. Like the one that I'm using right now, like I said, is a 240 hertz. It works great. I can't tell the difference between the 120 or whatever the other one is. I think this one next to it's 60, and I still can't tell the difference, but some people probably could. So if you got the money, might as well use it. Other extras, stream decks. I've never used them. I think they're stupid, but I've seen so many different people use them. So many people argue for them, like, you know, they're so cool or whatever. I've never used one. I never want to use one. That's how I feel about them. But to each his own. A Go XLR, I used to have one of those. I still have it. I don't use it. I use a different interface because I don't like the software that comes with the Go XLR. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it just because it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Definitely not worth the money. I have a ring light up there that's like it helps with the quality of the camera. It was like $60, something like that. I would definitely recommend getting that at least. You know, I would probably get that even for this one. If we're talking about the best, you can get like an actual box light for, like, you know, photography and things like that. It would make a big difference. Like I was talking about earlier, you know, keyboards, mouses, anything like that, whatever you want. It's hard for me to say for this best, because what I would do is not what I would vision you guys would probably do. Because no matter how much money I have, my base level personality is cheap. Like, I don't want to waste money. I don't want to spend unnecessary money. So, like, I can't even really think of extras that I would do. However, what I would say for no matter any of these tiers, I can go ahead and extra. No matter which one of these builds that you do, I would recommend joining my Patreon. Not because, like, you know, I want your money or anything like that. It's because the biggest problem with streaming is not building a perfect setup or anything like that. The biggest problem with streaming is marketing. It is extremely hard to market your streams, and that's exactly what my management program is about. Not only do I go through your streams and figure out exactly what you're doing wrong, figure out exactly what you need to be doing to help start marketing your streams properly, I tell you exactly what you are doing wrong, what you're doing right, what you need to be doing more of, what you need to stop doing, all of that. I go through your channel, your specific niche, everything like that, and I figure out exactly what you're doing wrong, and I tell you specifically for your scenario. So if you're a Minecraft streamer and you're not making any content, you're not making any short form videos, I'm going to look at your content, I'm going to tell you you're not making short form videos. Or if you are making short form videos and they're boring, I'm going to tell you, hey, these videos are boring. You can do this and this and this, and it'll make them a little bit more entertaining, and they're that much more likely to go viral. Things like that. That's how I act with anyone that joins my management program. I am a little bit of a prick. I take pride in telling people what they need to hear and not what they want to hear. When you join my program, you're going to want to hear that you're doing everything right, but you wouldn't join my program if you were doing everything right. So when you do join, I'm going to tell you, you're doing stuff wrong. This is what you're doing wrong. This is how to fix it. With that being said, I work with everyone very directly. You know, that's why I call it one-on-one management, but I don't have enough time to work with everyone that wants to work with me. So I have very limited spots in my Patreon. However, I add a couple more spots every time I drop a new YouTube video. As long as I have enough time to take on a new client client or two, I add a couple more spots for every tier every time I drop a new YouTube video. So if there is no spots available in my Patreon right now, if you go in my description, you'll see my Patreon link. If you go look, there's no spots open in any tier. Subscribe on YouTube, turn on my notifications so you get notified every time I upload. Then as soon as I upload my next YouTube video, go and check on the Patreon as soon as the video uploads. That way you can be sure that you get one of the last spots that are open. Again, thank you so much for watching, especially for watching all the way to the end. This has been a little bit different style of video. You know, I usually talk about marketing. I usually give you direct, you know, advice, step by step, do this, do this, do this. This was kind of just me building PCs for you in different budget scenarios, if that makes sense. I hope you enjoyed the style. It was a little bit weird for me to do, a little bit different for me. However, I enjoy getting out of my comfort zone a little bit, and I really hope that it helped you visualize exactly what type of budget you want to spend on a PC, and hopefully it helped you realize that you do not need thousands of dollars to start streaming. You don't even need hundreds of dollars to start streaming. You could start streaming right now today with nothing. You just need to be motivated, and as soon as you start to grow, you can use that money that you earn from streaming to start building your budget PC and then upgrading your setup slowly as, you know, your agency grows. With that being said, again, thank you so much for watching. If you are a streamer or you want to be a content creator or you want to be a streamer, make sure that you subscribe because I have hundreds of videos here dedicated to marketing for streaming. Also, I'm really close to hitting 10,000 subscribers, and when I hit that, I'm going to be releasing a very special video that is going to be extremely beneficial for all streamers, no matter where they are. If they just started, if they haven't started yet, or if they've been streaming for 3 years and can't grow, this 10,000 subscriber special video is going to be huge for helping streamers no matter what size they are. Also, if you didn't know, YouTube has an algorithm that can predict what video is going to be best for you as far as what will help you in your streaming career the most, and it's popping up on the screen somewhere right now. And if you don't have any other plans, I would appreciate it greatly if you watch this video because it shows YouTube's algorithm that my content is helping other streamers because they are watching multiple videos back to back. And I would really appreciate it because I want to help as many streamers as possible. There's been no feeling greater than the feeling of watching streamers that I've worked with grow their average viewers every single stream because they are using marketing to get out of the dreaded 1 to 2 viewer loop. Again, thank you so much.